Hey everybody, John here from Formtoro. I get asked a lot about how to use and leverage data and understand, what we have here in Formtoro. So I thought it'd be a good idea for me to kind of hop in here and do a long form video about explaining all the different tabs that we have here, how we look at things, and how we set stuff up. Really, more than anything else. So I'm taking a look at a Krakatoa underwear here, which some of you might know is a brand that I work on directly on the side. And I want to go over kind of what the overview looks like, and we're going to step through some of these guys. So, visitors are people that are coming to the site, and we have the total amount of visitors here. We have those that are new, those that are returning, those that are returning that are subscribers, and total returning visitors, which is the percentage of people. So 23% of our total are coming back. Revenue is all revenue that's coming in. We're specifically looking at first time revenue versus returning customer revenue. Depending on your brand, this might look different. However, this is an underwear brand, so people usually come and test out one and then they come back and they spend a little bit more on this. Looking at our forms seen, so the amount of subscriptions we see, confirmed subscriptions. Some people will sign up multiple times. There's no way to prevent that. Subscription rate at 5.3%. I'm not really worried about this rate in general, and I'll show you why a little later in this video. Form completion rate is over 92%, which is great. Cost per subscriber is about 22 bucks. Subscription conversion rate in the last 30 days is around 28%, 20. That's going to be higher due to some changes that we recently made. And time to purchase 95th percentile is 7.1 days. That means 95% of people that sign up that go on to purchase do so within the first 7 days. That's an important fact to look at when we're looking at, welcome series performance and some other stuff like that. We integrate with Facebook and Google Ads, which most people are running in the e-commerce world. So we're looking at our ad spend, cost per acquisition, blended CAC, first-time ROAS, and blended ROAS overall. And they help us to better understand what we could be doing better and what we should be focusing on doing better. We're looking at orders here next. And on the order side of things, we're looking at total orders, total AOV, and conversion rate for the entire store. Um, we're looking at first time orders, and first time orders are really important to me. They're broken down in a couple different ways. We're looking at the total first time orders that are coming in over a time period, the AOV for first time orders, first time order conversion rate, and then we're looking at the difference between subscribers, so people that are coming through our forms, and we're looking at their AOV and their value. And then we're looking at non-subscriber orders, people that are coming in but not through our forms. They're just buying stuff without opting in, and their AOV and their value. So as we can see, there's some stark differences here. If we can get someone to sign up, their AOV is up by a bit, and their subscriber value is quite a bit more. So we really want to grab data from people. And we're seeing here that nearly 60% of people are providing us data while they're signing up and ordering, which is awesome because it tells us the data points that we need and how to use that data collection in order to build out acquisition frameworks and get more people like them. And we'll work our way down there, and I'll show you kind of what I mean by that. Returning customer orders, also good to see what they represent in terms of number of orders. In comparison, they're up 48% of the orders, which is good. Their AOV is higher than everyone else, and their conversion rate is really pretty good of people that we know that are coming back. So they convert at a much higher rate. Down below here, we have form insights by source. These are generalized sources, and this is sourced by Medium down here as well. We mark our Facebook content as Facebook ads, so we can see that of people that come in, about 5.75% of people that come from Facebook end up subscribing, which is good. Most of them are seeing the forums, which is also really good. It's a high percentage. People aren't bouncing before that. And then around 24.62%, around 25% of people are converting. Now, one of the cool things about Formtoro is that our responses or answers are actually throughout our entire platform. So if we want to look at a specific source, we can see the breakdown of the answers being provided in this requisite conversion rates relative to those answers at any given time, which is pretty neat. So if we're looking at Facebook ads, for instance, and we want to see, hey, what are people most interested in? What's the highest converting? Right, highest converting shock straps, but it's on the low end of percentages there. So we want to focus on the top three: boxer briefs, briefs, and trunks. Okay, boxer briefs are making the most amount of revenue. Briefs and trunks, that makes sense given the price points allowed there, but boxer briefs here, trunks are outselling everything else. We should be advertising probably some more trunks when it comes to our ad spend. Why do we know that? It converts the highest, it's driving the second most amount of revenue, and it's ranked number third here in terms of options, but its number of orders are up. Hey, look at that. We did all the heavy work for you. So, when a lot of people ask me how do I use the data, I think it's because they don't understand that we try to make it as easy as possible. So, what you're seeing here is kind of our overall analysis of the situation. So, we're looking at all the stats and figures that exist above, plus, we have some guide rails in there of things that maybe shouldn't be there. And we'll increase the guide rails kind of as we go. But we're going to see that people that answer trunks or potential marketing opportunity, they convert higher, and we should look at leveraging them into ads and marketing materials. We're telling you what to do. And I really do genuinely mean that. Like, data can be difficult, but with contextual data that includes absolutes and percentages kind of as the options here, it allows us to figure out what exactly uh, we're looking for in terms of what direction to go with for these guys. So, as we kind of progress down through these things, what we end up seeing is these exist for every single question that we've answered. So, if we're looking at things like large pouch or things that matter most to people, this is what we're able to look at. And then we're looking at what's driving the most amount of revenue. So, if a large pouch and soft fabric are driving the most amount of revenue, cool, cool, and they're converting at the highest rate, I'm pretty sure that our marketing materials should say a lot of things about pouch size and super soft fabric. And we can kind of dictate what this looks like. Easy to use fly is in there too, which is great. It's got a high subscription rate. Orders are okay. It's doing well. A lot of these things matter about the same to people. But if it's me and I'm spending money, bing bing, these two are the ones that are driving the most amount of revenue. So every single one of my ads has got to talk about having a large pouch and super soft fabric. That's it. That's the entirety of how to do this. Like I said, it's not super difficult in order to look through these guys. When are you looking to upgrade your underwear? Now, this is good for just understanding the source of Facebook traffic. Literally the majority of it. So 26 and 56, what are we, 70, 82, 83% of people are looking to buy in the next couple of days. This tells you that Facebook ads is actually doing its job. The traffic they're driving to your ads and the people subsequently that are clicking on your ads and of those people that are subscribing are definitely in the market for that. So if they drive 100 people and we looked at the number of people that were subscribing, which was roughly 6% of people, the majority of the 6%, the vast majority that are in the market and are looking for a deal, are ready to purchase. So we just need to figure out how we can convert more of these people. 25% is not bad from largely cold traffic. In a few days, drops off quite a bit here, and that's not something that we want to know about. But it does open us up to some other ideas, right? We could look at everyone that's come from Facebook ads that signed up, that said today that didn't purchase, and we know that there's a 75% gap in terms of being able to retarget people. Maybe with a different offer, maybe with something else. Right now, we're not really offering any ad offers on our ads for this particular brand. So some of these guys are just coming in just because they're interested in underwear, which is great. Why are you in the market for new underwear? This is super useful for us. How do we portray some of these traits within our ads? Looking for the perfect pair. Great. Overwhelmingly doing good. Revenue by answers driving everything. Orders is great too. Not converting as high though. So maybe there's something that we're missing in terms of defining what the perfect pair of underwear should have. Maybe we need to explain why the perfect pair of underwear is there. My underwear is old is number two. That's really interesting too. These people are just ready for an upgrade. Maybe they're looking to upgrade for something for a different reason, but underwear just being old means sometimes things just need to be changed out. Maybe that's an ad thing. Is your underwear old? Grab something new and grab something better. Works out pretty well. Need more room up front. Once again, that matches with what matters most, the large pouch up there. That's cool. Upgrading to luxury, though, is an outlier, and it's really cool. You can already tell it's an outlier because it's bringing in more revenue with less answers, and it's got a lot of orders, second most amount of orders, and it's converting at the highest amount. Guess what, guys? Upgrading to luxury is already pulled out as being a potential advertising opportunity just based on the statistics alone. I'm serious. We made this pretty easy for you to be able to go through and understand kind of what's going on there. Currently on micromodal. Interesting question to ask. We do ask this around certain things that we're trying to highlight. No, but I'm interested 50%. Yes to the softest 38%. I don't know what that is. So 60% of people are there. Obviously, I don't know what that is lower in terms of the conversion rate, but people are definitely interested, which is good. What about our ads made you visit? And we ask this on our forums that tell us kind of what's up. Product images, number one, but I'm in the market for undies. God, I can't even I don't fight Facebook on this. And these guys know what they're doing in terms of finding people that might be in the market for stuff. And as many people complain about Facebook not delivering results, it's got nothing to do with their ability to target and anything else. They are literally driving people that are most likely to buy from you or at least in the market for stuff. Clear product images really matter. And I hate to say it, but like in all creative, just make sure the product's forward, upfront, center, and that you do really good pictures and photography and everything else that shows the details of that product in a way that allows someone to want to click through. Now you should all have these. If you've got pop-ups on your landing pages, 100%. It's the only way to get to landing pages are about your ads. Ask a question like this on those landing pages. It's going to do you a lot of good and help your creative team figure out exactly what to position. Actually, when you're looking to this, what about ads made you visit? And then you look at this, why are you in the market for underwear? And you look at this, what matters most to you in your underwear, you've basically created your entire marketing plan and strategy in order to put that on your ads really simply. There isn't any guessing in this anymore. A lot of people like to try a lot of hooks and angles and stuff like that. I'm not into that. I'm into just asking people what they care about, looking at the data that says what's actually caring about and what's actually converting, and then building ads and marketing strategy around those things because it tends to work out more often than not, and it's less work. Everyone wants to do less work. This is how you do less work. You collect data up front, you make it a seamless experience, and then you take these data, you ingest it, or let us ingest it, and then we'll tell you exactly what to do. And you should be able to build out a pretty solid marketing plan inside of like 10 minutes. If you're not used to going through data like this and analyzing it, that's perfectly fine. We put ourselves in here in order to help you better understand how to do this. If you're a brand that wants some more help doing this, hire us. Seriously, we've been doing this stuff for a long time. It's no problem for us to come in, work with you guys for a couple hours, and then put together a mini plan for you in order to understand how to view this data and how to build a marketing strategy around it. We've got great hourly rates, and we do that so that we can keep the price of the software low. We used to be very, very expensive as a piece of software, and now we're very affordable as a piece of software, but realize that other people might need a little bit of help, and that's where we come in order to offset that. Um, this is a post purchase question that's come up, and it's just trying new things is the number one answer here. In terms of conversion rate, though, we're looking at other things people care about reviews still, photos, descriptions. Descriptions count, they drive a lot of revenue. And they have a high conversion rate. Some of these people have purchased multiple times, so that's why it's over 100% here. We also have size guides that we have set up here, which is always interesting for us to understand so we can see a breakdown of people that are in between in terms of sizing so we can figure out where the biggest breakdown is. We ask questions like what social networks do you spend the most time on? We're obviously very lopsided here in terms of Facebook and Instagram, TikTok and Twitter, but these people came from Facebook, so that makes a lot of sense. Um, but yeah, we've got data for days. And we'll look at stuff like for insights in Medium as well. So we can break everything down there. All right, KPI timeline. This is configurable, and this shows a 7-day, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day rolling averages. So we can see percentage of subscribers that converted here. And has been checking up in the last 7 days, which is everything I want to see because we made some changes and we expected that to go up. But essentially, it's a 12% increase in the last 7 days over the average of 30 days, which is pretty awesome to see. Forum bounce rate, we want to just make sure that people are seeing forums. People are seeing forums multiple times on this one. Subscription rate, it hovers right around 6% for us, which is fine. Number of subscribers, etc. We track all these things just to see what's going on. First time ROAS is something we're really interested in. Blended ROAS is something also we're really interested in, and we have some gains happening in the last little bit there. Form insights. This one's super important. So this tab is going to show you all of your forms that you have live. And with those forms that you have live, we can sort these guys and we can see stuff like amount of views, subscriptions, subscriber rates. We want to see form completion rates. We've got emails, and we've got revenue that's being driven by those, AOV by the individual form, orders by those individual forms, and subscriber conversion rates. I pay attention to this one more than anything else because that's what's really important to me is understanding, are the people that are signing up people that are going to be likely to convert. We have two independent forms that trigger on the value of the cart email. Sorry, not all these forms were live at that time, but 61% of people that are getting this form are converting. Great. 52% great. 42% spectacular. 30% okay, a little bit lower, but still good. 47%, that's awesome. 37%, cool. And this is our landing page, and this is going to be like the lowest intent because we're hitting them pretty quickly when they get in. It's only 17%, but we got room there. Now, down below are some of our forms that we had beforehand. So these are the ones that look like that, and we're looking at different rates that accumulated over that. Like a past cart trigger for desktop was 76% of people. That's really high. Ultimately, though, as long as people are converting, we are happy, happy, happy campers in terms of understanding what that looks like. Now, the cool part about our platform as well, if you're diving into a specific form and you want to be like, hey, what's up? Let's figure out, what homepage is doing or what mobile looks like. We can click into this and we can take a look at these specific forms themselves in the same comparison model that we were doing earlier, and we can see kind of what traffic's being driven and what's converting. It might be slightly different because this is including all of the people that have gone through these forms. Now, the majority of this is just me to check on subscription rates and subscription conversion rates to best understand, what's driving the most amount of revenue and at what point in the journey that's really working. Homepage here being an outlier is really, really interesting for me to see. However, product page here on mobile seems to be absolutely crushing it uh, and doing pretty, pretty well. As well as, even though the subscription rate is lower here, the quantity of orders is relatively high, and 90 as an AOV coming in from that is pretty impressive because this is all from our landing pages. Response is where the magic happens. And we have different tags that you can add on different forms so you can kind of take these down. But this is a culmination of every single form that's collecting data. We have different views that are set up that you can create. So presets, I got boxer briefs, trunks, and briefs, and that's going to do the last 14 days. Quick win opportunities here I'm going to highlight and kind of go over for you. Boxer briefs was the top answer. We had 2,341 answers, only 313 orders, so 2,000 people didn't purchase. You're going to see these. We recommend you create a personalized email campaign for this segment. 100%. Like, if you see that big of a gap and there's so many people answering and there's so much potential opportunity out there, that means there's 2,000 people that signed up, showed intention, did a whole bunch of stuff, and they didn't purchase. Well, shit, we got to figure out how we can target that specific group. Or we have to figure out, what is it about their buyer journey that's preventing them from being able to make a purchase happen? These are people that after a certain period of time, wait for it. We look at time to purchase. Oh, it's not showing up for me, unfortunately. Might be a bug. Anyway, in here you can see time to purchase, which is going to show you exactly kind of like how quickly people are purchasing across. And if you know that it breaks down, and it was on our overview of being 7 days, so it's just not showing there. But if you show that as being 7 days, then 95% of purchases happen in 7 days, which means you can get more aggressive after day 7. So all these people that haven't purchased, After like day seven, get aggressive. Like send them an offer, send them a discount, figure out what's going to work for them. Are you on the fence? Why are you on the fence? Show a picture of someone in a GIF that's hanging from a fence in their underwear. I know that exists somewhere. But this is all of our answers, and this is what we're looking for, and we're looking for those outliers. Boom, there's our outlier of trunks again. Trunks showed up from the Facebook ads as well, and it's showing up here. This time it's number three, and it's definitely number three here, but it's outperforming everything else in terms of conversion rate. Maybe we should run some serious trunk ads and be like, really figure out how that works. Cool part about this, and I will show you guys this. On this, we can segment. So what this is going to do after it reloads here is it's going to show me all of my trunks answers. This is so powerful, guys. I can't even begin to explain like why this is cool because segmenting absolutely sucks in some other platforms. I'm not going to name names, but this is all the trunks answers. So people care the most about support for trunks, but large pouch is still doing well. Super soft fabric does not drive as much revenue. So there's a gap there. Maybe there's a big gap. Maybe there's a like terrible gap. I don't know, but it's just not doing what it's supposed to be doing in terms of that. It seems like people are saying that, but they're not converting, and we don't know why they're converting, so we should look into that. Maybe it's something that we're not putting up in our product descriptions. Maybe it's not something we're focusing on heavily enough. Whole bunch of different things could be going on there. We got to test and we got to figure it out. But if we're looking at what's driving the most amount of revenue, waistband that doesn't flip is in there, and support, large pouch, and legs that stay put. Legs that stay put are really important on things like trunks because they tend to be a little bit shorter and sometimes they can ride up. All right. Trunks for the most part, 34% of people that say trunks and today are purchasing. That's awesome. So that's a good combination to be aware of. Why are you in the market for new underwear if you said trunks? Looking for the perfect pair. My underwear is old. Do we have an outlier? Need more room up front. Underwear is old. Upgrading to luxury. This is a sleeper, guys. Honestly, we're looking at this data, and upgrading to luxury is what I call like an absolute sleeper because everyone's been mentioning it. It's lower on this. We just need to figure out how to like jack this guy up because its conversion rate's just so strong. Old underwear, sure, we get that. Need more room up front. Pouch size, again, something we should be definitely going harder on. There's probably a lot of funny videos that we could make in terms of like, pouch sizing stuff. Do you currently own micromodal underwear? Same question that we had. Yes, or the softest, highest conversion rate. No shock there. The offer, surprising. It's always interesting when you see stuff like this, and I just want to make sure that yeah, the numbers are a little bit lower in terms of this, but it's still like having a good offer on your ads or having a good offer is going to be one of the differentiators that brings in sales, lowers CAC and does everything else for you. All right, I'm gonna get rid of that guy. All right, so that takes us through kind of the analysis of the responses to form insights, a little bit of the KPI stuff. But really, what that's the bulk of it, right? This is you as the brand or the strategist or looking to hire someone out. This is the kind of information that they're going to piece together so that they can come up with a business plan for you. Real generally speaking, here's what it would look like straight up. Your top ones to advertise are boxer briefs because everyone likes them. They drive the most amount of revenue. Go with that. Conversion rate's still pretty high there, so we want to just make sure that gets even higher. Maybe there's a problem with what our pricing is on this. Now we're a luxury brand. We charge $34 for a pair of boxer briefs, to $38 for a pair of boxer briefs. That's a tall ask for an internet brand that doesn't maybe isn't a household name. So there might be something for us to go revisit in terms of giving an intro pair to people and capping that off at a certain price point that's similar to what our retail price is, but within range. So that's something for us to go back and take a look at. In fact, if I wanted to, I can go back to when we used to run that offer and we can take a look at the data and we'll see what it looks like. Oh, yeah, check that out. So if I take a look at this data from February to back here, we see our conversion rates were so much higher. But the majority of this is we were running an intro offer at the time. It's tweaking out on me a little bit. Let's see if we can refresh. Give me a refresher. All right, I think that solved it. Our conversion rates were so much higher back then, but we were running intro pairs and bringing people in with some mega discounts in order to get people across the line. We also saw a bigger boxer brief split there. So boxer briefs were a lot higher in terms of that, but trunks and briefs right behind it. They also converted at a really, really high rate back then. Um, Support used to be number one. It's no longer. Now it's super soft fabric and large pouch, right? So things do change over time. I hear this a lot, and we've had a couple clients that have decided to leave us because like, oh, I already know all this information. This is the one reason why you don't know all this information and things do change over time. We just looked at February versus the last 30 days and the answers are completely different. And that's because the audience that we're attracting is completely different because we have zero control over what traffic we're driving. I hate to say this, but most marketers get super cocky and most brand owners don't see value in things because they don't understand how to use data. And sometimes it gets really infuriating, but like at the same time, like I just want to reach out there and say, "Hey guys, don't worry about it. Like things change constantly. It's okay if you don't feel like things are changing because you're not going to see a micro change in a couple months. You'll see a change in 3, 4, 6 months if you change up your style." Most of the time, when people end up leaving us and saying that they already know all the same information, it's because they didn't action any of this data to make any of the changes necessary in order to drive like an increase in revenue or sales. Here's a question we don't ask anymore, which is around size. And the reason why we stopped asking it is because we started doing a size guide, and that gets a lot of traffic and tells us kind of more or less the same answers, just in a more helpful way for the customer. Today used to be 69%. Man, when you have an intro offer, it really, really, really works. This is interesting though in terms of in a few months converting at about 50%. So even though it's a small amount of people from this time period, 72, like 36 people ended up converting. It's not nothing. It's not a ton of capital, but like I said, most of the people are today. So focus on those people. You might be able to get a couple from in a few days, but really we're just looking at take everything from today and move it as quickly as possible to checkout. Uh, what are you most looking forward to when they arrive? This is a post purchase question, and this is why we ask this as a post purchase question. Tell me what matters to you. Feeling that smooth material, that fresh underwear feeling, lounging in luxury, exercising with them. Sweet. You know what happens when you get an answer like this? You write a post purchase email that says, "Hey, you mentioned that you were really looking forward to feeling that smooth material. How do we compare to other pairs of underwear you have? Are you completely satisfied with the materials that we make our stuff out of?" It's that easy, guys. It's not complicated. It's just ask the right questions, know how to follow up. All these post purchase people are like, "Oh, where did you first hear about us? And what did you almost buy instead of us? And what other products were you considering?" Do not ask those. I swear to God, you cannot use that data for anything. It's only 2% of people that are converting, and 80% of those people are never going to come back. They're the stupidest questions to ask. I keep saying it, and I don't think people understand that. What made you decide to purchase today? This could be open ended, but it doesn't really help us out to do that. Just trying new things is number one. Like descriptions, reviews, photos. We want to know where we want to invest our time and what we want to pay attention to. So descriptions and reviews are really, really important. But trying new things tends to win out, especially during this time period. This time period won out specifically because there was an offer that was too good not to pass up on. And people are looking for, the perfect thing. What social networks do you spend the most time on? God, this is such an underrated question for post purchase. I don't care where you heard about us. I care where you spent your time. I care if where you spent your time is driving revenue, like Twitter and Reddit are driving revenue, and that's good to know. And people are spending time there. Still, Facebook and Instagram, though, there's no reason for us to kind of go outside of those two channels in terms of building this specific business. We just need to refine our ads a little bit by looking at that data and then building out an ad set that caters to the things that people said that they cared about that we're converting. Luxury, upgrading to luxury, front pouch, yada, yada, yada. And humor. Humor with good product images. It's going to crush it for us. It's going to continue to crush it for us. Oh, that was a random question that I had down there. Who are you rooting for the Super Bowl? And we just collected some answers randomly. Didn't do anything with it. It was just asking questions to see how many people would respond. Okay, I'm going to go back to the last 30 days so that we can kind of take a peeky, because things do change, like I said, over time periods. And you want to review this. I want to say like every 30 days you want to review this. I don't think you need to review this more than 30 days or more than when you make like a wholesale change to something. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to do that. You need a sizable enough amount of data in order to understand trends around that. But specifically, I want to look at this question. Smooth underwear feeling is still number one there, and just trying new things is still number one there. So, I mean, there's the data. It doesn't really change. You need to just appeal to people's interest and intrigue around describing something with usually analogies to something else that they might be used to, and getting to the trying new things part. Now we do some other interesting things within the platform, and I think they're super cool. But UTM breakdowns exist, and I don't want you to freak out on this stuff. Uh, we got too many dupes going on here. But the row is all first time rows, first time clicks. So someone that we can actually say did something. And what we're looking for is to understand what's driving and what we can actually track through. These aren't going to be perfect, but there are some guide signs that we look for here. These look a little bit of a mess. I'm going to do last 7 days instead. Much cleaner. Okay. So essentially, this is what I'm looking for. Ideally, these are all click not view. So Facebook will do the 7 day view stuff and whatever. Like you'll see multiple things. But what I do care about is I do care about looking at specific groups and understanding their relevant sub rate, because their sub rate is going to tell me usually if they're going to be successful or not. And I'm looking for a sub to sale rate, which is the sub to conversion rate from these guys. So whoever's coming from these specific ad sets, I'll look at the ads themselves. We'll get a deeper breakdown here. We can see the sub and the sub to sale rate, which is always really interesting, because the sub to sale rate, for the most part, if that exists, as you can kind of see here, is going to drive a positive ROAS, which is pretty good. And I don't mind. CAC at 30 is okay. It's just CACs have blown up for us a little bit, and it's something that we need to re-look at how we have our ads positioned and stuff like that. But every bit of revenue here came from subs. But our top ad right here is this guy, and even though the cost per sub and the CAC is a little bit higher, the revenue is positive and the number of orders are flowing in, which is really all that I care about. But softer than Cashmere's there. And remember, we look back on things and it said, we cared about things that were luxury and materials and softness. And this ad, excuse me, it like exemplifies what that means. So I know it's positive. Magic Love Wand is a different ad that we're running, and it has a higher sub rate but less views. So it looks like most of the money, the spend's all going to that guy. This guy might want to break out into another campaign though and test with some budget on itself to see if it can float, because it's doing pretty okay. But I think it's just getting dominated by this one, and I don't think it has a fair chance to see if it's going to be a success or not quite yet. So that's how I kind of use the UTM breakdown to see what's up, because I don't care about, I care about all the stats individually, and I can kind of see kind of where people are falling out here. So as you just saw, I open that up and I can kind of see the answers for all of these subscribers. So there's only 13 in this, but if I made that a larger subset, I'd get more as they come in, and then I can start to understand what the breakdown is across and who's converting. Once again, that's another trunks one. But again, strong. So I can see today is for sure 100% was driving stuff. Looking for the perfect pair, upgrading to luxury. My underwear is old. Like, we're seeing trends within our ads now that we can just throw back in there. I think this is one of the craziest things where most platforms do not combine subscription data around this with ad related data. And this is where you can find a lot of secret success in making stuff happen. Because if you see this at 1.6, 1.58, or whatever, and everyone wants to find what the true ROAS is of this, I know no one trusts Facebook, but those are the numbers Facebook's working with. Um, the halo effect is real. If we stop running ads, our sales drop. That's just the way that it works. Uh, this next little bit I'm going to skip over because we're in the midst of redoing it, but I do want to go to subscription analysis and kind of show you what this looks like. This is a rolling 90-day sub analysis. And what it does is it shows you your overall performance. So the number of sessions that have come in, the number that are new, that are returning. We can see the number of views that we have, the subs that we have, the percentage that's there as well. The subscription to conversion rate, real important. Like, how does it average? Where is it averaging out on stuff on any specific day, etc. And this is usually from all new traffic that's subscribing on that day too. So it's pretty good. We got our ad spend in there as kind of a little bit of barometer, cost per subscribers in there as well. And this is, like I said, 90 days. We do order analysis as well. And that's just showing us like what our AOV is on the day, conversion rate, first time orders, uh, first time AOV, first time conversion rate, first time CAC, first time ROAS, all the way down. So we've got these all fairly well managed to understand kind of what's going on, repeat order, AOV, etc. And of course, blended ROAS here at the end, just to make sure we're still somewhat profitable. And then we look at why things changed, and that was an email day, and we had a good day because we sent out an email to people, and that drove some rev. Takes us to revenue analysis, which is also rolling 90 days. If it loads for me here. Okay. Sometimes this gets on there. Well, in your version, it should at least. Anyway, this is going to be rolling 90 days of revenue analysis, and it's going to include first time customers, repeat customers, etc. It's just an extended version of what's on the overview. So I'll show you an extended version over this period of that versus this, etc., to kind of show you what's up, blended ROAS, etc., over that time period. Um, that's it. That's basically an overview of kind of most of the tabs that we have here. Uh, a lot of you guys have seen the forms because that's how you came to be here. And then we'll do a separate chapter on looking at the forms. But the massive takeaways from all this, it's really not that hard. It's the right questions and the right answers. It's understanding how to look at this data and then interpret it. But we've made it a little bit easier because we do have some cheat sheets that are built in here so that you can see kind of what's up. You can segment down by clicking on any given answer at any given time and seeing the rest of the answers that are corresponding to people that have answered that. You can actually narrow down as much as you want. We have found in extensive testing that you probably don't want to really go down more than 2 layers because every time you go down a layer, you're going to have less and less data to deal with. So you need a larger time period. That's just my 2 cents on that. But overall, narrowing down at least a little bit on your top sellers is really good. So we can say this is boxer briefs that's been taken out, looking for the perfect pair. Underwear is old, sweet, but upgrading to luxury is converting the highest. And my underwear is old is also converting the highest too. That's perfect. And then if we looked at this, I'm in the market for undies, we can say, okay, but pure curiosity and the offer are what's dominating that in terms of making that happen. So when we do see certain things like this, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Let's go past 30 days. Because remember, you need their responses for a portion of time so that you have a better idea of what's going on. And limited data is going to be tough. Clients that have a lot of data, they can do a lot more with it because it's just a volume game. You can build better patterns off better data. the way it works. But if we're looking at things for boxer briefs and revenue by answer, it's all pretty similar here, which is kind of crazy. Um, Support and large pouch are the two top ones. Soft fabric is up there as well. And I want to see this. Looking for the perfect pair. Upgrading to luxury is upgrading to luxury. I swear it's. I think it's the gap. It's absolutely 100% the gap. Actually, when I get off this kind of little training session, I am going to go look at all of our stuff and see how we can reposition all of our stuff for upgrade and luxury, and combine that with these things right here. Surprisingly, something else is up there, which means we might need to change our offers or let someone write in an offer so that we have a better idea of what people are actually caring about there. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it. We're at a little over 40 minutes, and I'm sure this was a lot to take in. So take notes, shoot me Slack message, emails, whatever it is, and let's rock and roll. And we can see how we can help you guys get more comfortable looking at this data and start building marketing strategies and plans around it. I know a lot of this wasn't so much on the email side of things. Most of it goes right back to acquisition. The email gaps that you want to be paying attention to are these guys and figuring out what the biggest gaps are and then figuring out how you can bridge those gaps. If everyone's interested in a specific thing, why aren't they buying it? And figuring out what the follow up steps to that are. You should look at the data and you should look at, what the most amount of answers are, etc. And we could look at absolutes on this or percentages. They're going to be the exact same, but they're going to start um, telling you where the gaps are in relation to conversion rate and revenue. And then you can work out a strategy or a new angle that you want to present to those specific people via email, etc. But please keep in mind that like 95% of people are purchasing within the first 7 days. So you got really limited timing. That's why the most gains are going to happen on the welcome series. Um, or what offer you have for people. Like, I mean, game this stuff for sure. Remember before this was like 60%, now we're at 34% because we don't have an intro offer. Bringing back an intro offer might bring this up statistically higher. And if it does do that, sweet, more product in hand, and that's the game at the end of the day. One of the things that we have noticed since we started making changes to our pricing structure and stuff like that is although profit has increased for us, which has been great, this has dropped. And we want first time customer revenue to be more than returning customers because we want returning customers to be not quite 52% of orders. We prefer them to be closer to 30% of orders because that means we're still doing acquisition at a rate that's bringing in fresh people so that we can maintain that high number. In short, we're going light on the acquisition on this account right now, and that's kind of how you see these things happen. There's other accounts I've seen where like 90% of the revenue is coming from returning customers, which means they have zero top of funnel. Bad. That's like where death goes to happen for e-com stores. So that's how we take a look at the data. That's how I look at the data. And hopefully this has been beneficial for you so that when you're going through some of your Formtoro data, you can start to pick out some of these things. And like I said, if you got questions, feel free to send them over. If it's strategy related things and you need an extra pair of eyes that needs to help you develop a strategy, just book a paid call. We record them and I go through this stuff with you guys and you guys have notes and you can go back through it and then figure out what changes you want to make. And I guarantee you, a couple tweaks here and there, you'll make the money back pretty quickly. Let's just leave it at that. All right. Take it easy, everyone.